Alex, a game that you could have won by half time, he must be so frustrated.
Yeah, extremely frustrated. We should have been out of sight. Big criticism is that we haven't created enough in games, and I think that we really had a focus on trying to move the ball forward and run forward and crosses and shots. And I thought first half you come in, they've had one shot on target, and we've had 11 in the first half crosses. It was all us, I think that ultimately when you don't take those chances, you give teams hope, you give teams oxygen, and ultimately they've had 3 shots in the second half, scored one of them, and you lose 1-0. I think second half we stopped doing the things that got us our success. We stopped moving the ball. As quick as we did in the first half, we stopped switching the play, crosses, runs in behind. Listy was electric at times running in behind, which caused real problems for them. But we stopped doing that, and second half wasn't as good as the first half. But we should be in a draw, but we're not.
What was the reason for that, do you think? Was it your players, or do you think Mansfield snuffed you out?
No, I think we didn't take our chances. Ultimately, we have created chances this season, but when you get them, you're not always going to create, hundreds of shots in games, but you've got to work hard for your opportunities, and when you get them, you have to take them. And you watch clubs at the higher level, you don't always get those opportunities. You have to work for them hard, but when they come along, you have to take them. And we didn't do that today. And like I say, when you don't do that, you give the opposition hope. And I think if we'd have taken those in the first half, we would have been out of sight and given them very little hope. But when you do that, it's a set piece, it's a deflection, it can be anything that gets teams through, and today we've been punished for that, for a lack of that clinicality.
You threw everything at it in the second half with the substitutions, but just couldn't eke that out of them.
Yeah, I think when they score, I think what we've got to try and make sure is that belief and that they don't kind of revert backwards. We have to make sure that when they score, if they score, we keep doing the things that got us our success, and we're trying to do that. I think at the end there you're trying so hard to get back into the game, and mistakes can happen. You want to see crosses coming in the box, but people are are trying to run and make things happen. But you have to stick to what gets you success. And first half and the start of the second half was good up until the goal, and then after that I just felt like we just, sometimes you throw the kitchen sink in it, and sometimes it's not always the way. Sometimes it's not always the way just to go long and go big, because it's a gamble. Sometimes it's better when you play and you switch as a player and you get crosses, and that's what we were doing in the first half, and we just stopped doing that second half.
It was a strange atmosphere in that second half, wasn't it? The Mansfield fans, they were obviously buoyant because they'd taken the lead. The Stevenage fans couldn't react because the players didn't give them anything to react to, and the players couldn't react because the fans weren't giving them anything to react to.
No, it's frustration. It's frustration on everyone's part, because you want to win games. It's frustration because you want to go through. We'll all watch the draw tomorrow, and you'll be hoping that they don't get a big club, because that's the way it works. And we wanted to be through. We wanted to get back to winning ways, and our first half performance was excellent. Was excellent to limit this side to one shot. It was a really top performance, and when you're coming in, and it's a frustration. It's frustrating for us, of course, because we work extremely hard with them to try and deliver wins. And when you're not, you have to look at yourself. You have to look at what we're doing to make sure that we're giving them everything we can do to win. And I felt like today, for the first half, I thought, like I say, we were everything that you want to see. And then obviously the second half is disappointing to concede, but you just got to keep going, and you have to just keep producing the football that we produced in the first half. If you did that, I'm sure we would have got back in the game, but we just reverted backwards slightly and huffed and puffed, and fans want to see something back, and I think that's the frustration.
Players look down at the end. Have you got a job to pick them up ahead of Tuesday?
Well, they're going to look down because they know first half we should have been out of sight, and we rely on clean sheets, of course, to get your results. But also, we've as a team we've been guilty of missing opportunities, not creating enough potentially. But that comes from being a team that comes from the reason why we created chances today was because Elliot List ran in behind constantly and caused real problems, and that gave Dan Kemp space, that gave Jordan Roberts space. Jake Young ran at people, and final product from Jake Young could be better, but they need to take the positive things, because there was lots of positives in the first half, lots of positives, and if you take them into the next game, then you play like that, you got the right result.